Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll talk about some prerequisites that you need to know, that you need to have before you can start learning or before you can start your journey of becoming a Jira user, Jira consultant, or maybe a developer. Basically, if you are thinking of doing anything with Jira, then I think you need some kind of a background. And to be honest, in general, this is what I normally say to everyone, and I'm sometimes wrong, to be honest, is that you don't really need to have any previous knowledge or previous experience of similar tool, or maybe there are no prerequisites when it comes to learning a tool like Jira. It is, of course, very intuitive, or for most parts, it is, I think, intuitive. And you need, of course, to spend some time. When you start using a new tool, you have to spend some time in the beginning to learn few bits about it. I'm not really saying that you need to learn each and everything, or you don't really need to do any initial crash course or training. You need to, of course, spend some time to get familiar with the basics, and then, of course, you can carry on. Now, let us talk about people who use the tool the most, and these people are usually, let us say, project managers, scrum masters, or developers, or someone who is just in a position where they are responsible for planning and tracking the progress of the project. So these people are usually spending, of course, a lot of time on the tool, and they are the ones who actually know a lot about how to do things in Jira. But at the same time, from my experience of working with people, I think this group of people is probably, or it can be, or they can be a bit challenging or difficult to work with, because number one, they don't really exactly know what Jira is. Number two, they expect the tool to do the work for them. And I have covered this in the past. If you are following my videos, then I'm sure you know how I have been very vocal about what to expect from a tool like Jira and what not to expect. So Jira is again a tool. It is not really going to do the work for you. Now let us talk about, let us say Agile. Now, Agile is, of course, very popular. It has been very popular, and people are still using it. And in almost every company and any organization, there is a concept of course, some form of Scrum or Kanban, or they do some kind of, Scrum usually. Like they have like sprints. And to be honest, it is not really. It is I guess a very good. I'm not really saying that I follow Agile by book, or I basically talk about it when I talk to my clients that you do this, do that. I let them do whatever they're trying to do, because that is not really my responsibility. I don't really do the delivery. I just help them, support them from tool perspective. But at the same time, because I know, first of all, I am also a developer. I have been doing these things. I have worked with Agile teams. And of course, at the same time, when I work with clients to help them get the most out of a tool like Jira, I know I can relate to them. I also understand their challenges. But when you're using a tool like Jira, or any tool, it is not really something to do with Jira. It's more about in general. If you are using a tool like Jira, let us say you're following a Scrum. Now, if you don't follow Scrum, or if you don't really follow all the aspects of Scrum, I'm not really saying, okay, some of the aspects of Scrum, not really each and everything, then tool is not really going to improve the output. For example, if we talk about Scrum, we have the concept of backlog, we have the concept of stories, requirements, epics, we have the concept of course, backlog grooming, and before you start the work, before you start the iteration or a sprint, you have to do some kind of initial planning. and then of course you commit the work, then of course you start the work, then you track the work, and you have to track the work that your teams are delivering every day. Like every day, spend some time with the team to understand what is blocking them, so that they are not really blocked and waiting for something for a long time. You basically need to drive, and you need to do it every day, and that is the responsibility of managers, scrum masters, and they have to of course monitor what is happening. It is of course a difficult job, but tool is there to help you, tool is there to collaborate. So the whole idea of using a tool like Jira is that you're collaborating. And imagine if you're following Agile and you're all sitting in a same room. Imagine let us say somewhere on your wall or board you have, let us say, those columns, to do, in progress, done. And when you basically follow this regularly, you can actually see visually what is happening. So if you're in the same room and you're working together every day, you actually don't need a tool. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but in reality, you can obviously work together, and you can just ask someone, okay, where is this information? But of course, people work remotely, they collaborate, and of course there are advantages of using a tool, because you can report on it, you can see what happened, and of course it is a proper tool, so everything goes in a database. But you don't have to use a tool to follow Agile. You can follow Agile and not use a tool. That is what I'm trying to say. Agile is a way of working, not really using a tool like Jira or Rally or whatever. There are like hundreds of tools that people use. So when you're using a tool like Jira, in the beginning, if you're, let us say, a project manager, or let us say if you're targeting this kind of role where you're thinking, yes, I can probably manage this Scrum, or I can probably become project manager, because it is of course really important position, and salaries are good, to be honest. So focus on the skill, focus on your main skill of project management, of managing people, and don't worry too much about the tool. Tool is absolutely simple to use. Of course, in the beginning, get familiar with Jira. It won't take more than a day or maximum 2 days to know what is happening in the tool. And when I work with people who are in similar roles, they expect things like, okay, so if my team is not performing well, then there is something wrong with the tool, right? And that is where things go wrong. It is not really the tool, it is basically your way of working. Tool is just going to tell you, or basically show you the progress and store it somewhere for you. That is it. That is what the tool is doing. It is not really going to if your process is broken, if you're not really talking to your teams every day, if you're not really doing those daily stand-ups, if you're not unblocking dependencies or blocking dependencies, then the tool will of course show you this information after like 2 weeks, when your sprint is about to end. And if you still don't see you're burning all the stories, then it is not really the problem with the tool, it is problem with your process. And to learn a tool in the beginning, it is more about learning and becoming better at your job, at your core skill, which is project management, or being a good Scrum Master. And from experience, I can tell you that it takes years. You can be a developer from day one. Let us say you are a fresh college graduate, you just finished your engineering. Literally on day one, you can start writing code and you can actually deliver value. But to become a good project manager or a Scrum Master, someone who is in the lead position, it is going to take years. I don't really think it can happen in your early days of your career. Maybe it can happen. There are always exceptions, but that is where I think you should focus on improving your core skills, and don't worry too much about Jira. And if you are not really a good project manager, if you're not really a good Scrum Master, then of course you can blame a tool, blame this tool like Jira or whatever tool that you're using. But I thought I'll probably talk about it and make it very clear that yes, it is not really rocket science to use a tool like Jira. You can start using it straight away. It is very simple. All the things that you are doing if you're trying to follow Agile, these things are already there in Jira. If you are a project manager and if you ask me, what is an epic? What is a story? If you ask me, what are story points? If you're asking questions like, what is sprint retrospective? What is a stand-up? So it means that you are probably, I don't really want to say that you're not a manager, but my expectation is that if you are a project manager, then you know these things already, and your question should be, okay, if you're asking me, okay, how can I manage my epics? How can I create stories under epics? Yes, that is where I can help you. That, go to your backlog. This is your story, or these are your stories. Just drag them on the left hand side to your epic panel, and that is how you will assign these stories to epics and look at these reports. But this prerequisite, or these prerequisites that I'm talking about, it has nothing to do with the tool itself, or with basically any tool. It is more about Agile principles in general. I think that is what you need to focus on. And I made this video today to basically help people who are targeting this particular role. And this is, of course, a very important role. This is something that will help you a lot in your career. Along with your core skills, if you know a tool like Jira, then you can do your work really nicely, effectively. And I definitely recommend getting yourself familiar with these concepts in the tool, like project administration, or how to manage your board, your Agile board. And there are a lot of things that you can do. You can always go to Atlassian website and sign up for a free cloud instance. Learning Jira Agile, or I should say Jira software, is very easy, because when you create a new board in your free cloud instance, you can actually create a board or a project with sample data. So if you already know those Agile concepts, you just need to take a look at your sample project in Jira and look at how it behaves. And by the way, there are plenty of resources online. Even if you search for this information on my channel, you will find plenty of videos. And it is not difficult, to be honest. All right, that is all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much.